tonight on Colonial Sports Center.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Colonial Sports Center. We are your hosts. I am Brett McGulick, joined by my partner in crime, as always, Joey Dramasic. Joey, what do we got for the people at home tonight?
We have a lot in store today and a lot of exciting sports. We're going to start out with some soccer, then move on to the football field, some hockey previews, and, of course, our favorite times of the show, top 5 plays and games to watch.
But not quite yet. We're going to get to those in just a little bit. But right now, we're going to start things off with women's soccer, Joey.
Yep, the Colonials took on Green Bay on Sunday in their third conference game this week. So we're going to see how they did in the highlights of this game. So on Sunday, they played at the NAC, and Bailey Campbell is going to start it out here with the ball. She's going to take it to the middle of the field, and that ball eventually get passed back to Julian Marvin. She's going to send a ball in, and it's going to get stopped by the keeper, but Paloma Slinker is there. Right place, right time for their first goal of the game and Slinkler's second of the season.
Colonials strike first here in this one against Green Bay, Joey. Took a little bit to get the offense rolling for the Colonials, about 10 minutes in, but better late than never, excuse me, finds the back of the net for the Colonials.
And just about 12 minutes later, the Colonials are going to have another chance as Slinkler gets the ball and she's dribbling up the field. Looks like she's going to take a cross, but it ends up being a shot. Hits off the bar, and as the ball is bouncing around, Ryan Haffenbrock for the Phoenix trip up one of the Colonials. And as we sit here, we're going to take a look. What was there a foul there, Brett?
I don't know about that one, if I'm being honest with you, Joey. I mean, the colonial bias in me says there was one, but the journalist in me says, I don't know, maybe that one was a little bit softer, but the Colonials take advantage of the break and go up 2-0.
Yep, that was Trethway's first goal of the season, but the Phoenix are going to end the first half with a goal of their own to bring it within one. Rebecca Stockman brings it within one as she is right there just in front of the box, in front of the keeper, and she puts it in the back of the net before halftime.
Colonials strike 2 early, but Green Bay does not stop their fight as they put it within 1 against the Colonials here at the NAC.
In the early second half, Lainey Stark sent it over past the Colonial defense, and Isabella Brazic makes a touch past the Colonial keeper and puts it in to tie the game 2-2, brings it level in the second half.
Yeah, unfortunately, that one is going to do it scoring-wise for this matchup. A 2-2 tie. Colonials go up too early, looking good, but unfortunately just could not find the back of the net for the rest of this matchup. But 1 point is better than 0.
Yeah, and it's a conference game, better than their first conference game against Milwaukee, which they got beat pretty good. So, getting a draw in their second game, Coach Rick and the team feel pretty good. They're looking up on the conference play.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said earlier, 1 point is better than 0, especially in those conference matchups where you never really know what is going to happen. To get anything out of those is definitely something you could consider as a plus. Obviously, you want that too, but getting something out of it
and build off of. Yep.
Absolutely. You can build up from there. But continuing with conference matchups, but heading over to the men's soccer side of things, men's soccer took it to the NAC this past Saturday after a 4-0 commanding win against Detroit Mercy, continuing their conference play against the Northern Kentucky Norse. Let's see how the Colonials fared in this one. And Joey, I think I'm seeing deja vu here, another 2-2 tie between these two teams. And as you can see here, Joey, this one got pretty physical. 9 combined yellow cards between these two teams.
Yeah, and as you said before the show, we were talking about the game. 5 of them for NKU was in the second half. So a lot of physicality after halftime, but it was probably because of Kyler Miller's goal to end it within the closing seconds of the first half.
100%. Yeah,
which tied the game.
Yeah, so the Norse would end up striking first. Bennett Gurak would find the back of the net in the 17th minute of the game, and then the Colonials would strike back with Kyler Miller finding his second of the season with only 3 seconds left in that first half. So those teams are going to be salty going out of that one. As you can see, 6 of those yellow cards were from the Norse. So definitely a little bit of saltiness going into that first half.
Yeah, and Victor Koa had a wonder goal. Hint, hint. Might see that one later on Top 5 Plays. I guess we'll have to find out.
Well, these upcoming games for these teams are going to be no easy matchup. You know, I mean, this conference schedule is going to continue going, like we said earlier, with the women's team. Anything you could get out of those would be beneficial.
And especially for the men's side, they're reigning Horizon League champs, so they have the biggest target on their back this season. And any points, I get same thing for the women's side as we see some of their upcoming matches here. Some tough ones, but also maybe some easy ones to maybe get some of the bench guys, get them kind of hyped up and get them experienced as the conference play goes on. And maybe if they pick up some injuries, they'll be ready for conference play later in the season. Yeah,
to also build that team chemistry as well. I mean, it is still very early in the season. We talked about this last time we were on here as well. That chemistry builds over time, and getting everybody on the same page, especially with some of those easier matchups, is going to be huge for the Colonials going so far.
Yeah, and also with the chemistry, you know, they had a lot of transfers, 15 new players this season, which we did mention a few weeks ago. It'll be exciting for the Colonials. You know, I'm sure Coach Potter wanted that one to be a win after their dominant performance against Detroit Mercy, but, you know, a point nonetheless they'll take for now.
Absolutely. Well, whenever we come back on Colonial Sports Center, we are going to hit the gridiron as well as the hardwood, so don't go anywhere.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Now, football season is fully upon us, coming off a huge home opener win for the Colonials football team. They took on Dayton this past Saturday. Let's take a look and see how the Colonials did. Here we are going to start off. Colonials have the ball. At the end of the first quarter, Zach Tanner will hand it off to Ethan Shine for the touchdown. Colonials would strike first in this one. As you can see, Ethan Shine finds the perfect hole. Huge props to the O-line for making it easy for him. Colonials will go up 7 here.
Yeah, Shine having a pretty good game against West Liberty, continuing his dominance early in this one.
Now, the Dayton Flyers are up on the offense. Brighton Skandemeyer finds the back of the end zone. He finds Gavin Lachow for a touchdown. Tie game here. This one's going to be a close one.
Yeah, the Flyers flew down 67 yards on this drive here and got the score to tie the game for the Flyers.
Now 7-7 going into the second half. I would like to point out there that is not Zach Tanner, Joey. That is Jake Wolf, the sophomore out of Montour, is going to get the snap. He's going to break away and get a nice gain there for the Colonials, pick up that first down, making a good impression in his first time seeing the field for the Colonials.
Good impression indeed on a nice 19-yard run here. You know, finds a gap right between the tight end holding out and getting a nice gain there for the Colonials.
Wolf would end up rushing 8 for 39 yards on the day. Now Colonials are back driving. Unfortunately, that one would not work out, but here we go, handoff back to Ethan Shine. He finds the end zone. Shine goes for 55 yards on the day, but 2 touchdowns. Colonials put up 14. He was all over the field today. and the Colonials will go up 14-7 about halfway through the third quarter.
Ethan Shine is a shining star for this Colonial team as he got his second touchdown of the game on that possession.
Now the Colonials down, or the Dayton Flyers, down. That is a touchdown pass to Luke Hansen for the Dayton Flyers. This one is going to make it a tie game. Finds him in the back of the end zone. And we got a tie game here, Joey.
We got a tie game here indeed, but look at this pass. Great pass out to Hansen. He's going to find the end zone as he just, kind of jogs back for that 7-yard score.
Absolutely. Skandemeyer finds his man in the middle of the field. That is Ethan Thulin putting the Dayton Flyers up for success here, putting them in field goal range. That is a nice pass there as they are driving down the field, and this one's going to be looking scary here for the Colonials.
Yep, Thulin with his one catch, 45 yards on that play.
And the field goal is good for the Dayton Flyers. They take the lead, 3:28 left in the fourth. Colonials jump out early, but now Jake Wolf and the Colonials have a chance to take this one back. He drops back to pass, exits the pocket, sends it downfield, and that one is going to fall incomplete to Thomas Lee. Mac Grant III on the coverage for the Flyers. The Colonials are looking for a flag there. They would not get it. We talked about this for the soccer team. Sometimes the bounces just don't go their way, and the Colonials would fall on this one, 17-14.
Fall on this one indeed, and a 3-21 record all time against Dayton. Unfortunate for them to not be able to pull that one away, but a loss nonetheless.
Yeah, especially with that upcoming schedule too. It's really hard to see this rough patch for the offense, especially with Zach Tanner going out. He went 7 for 15 and threw for 89 yards before going out in this game as the starting quarterback for this Colonials team, and having some rough matchups coming up. That's going to be concerning for the Colonials.
Yeah, in the NEC, just some tough games for them coming up indeed. And with new quarterback Jake Wolf, it'll be tough for him. It'll be interesting for how he kind of gets in his rhythm as we see some of the games here. Merrimack this Saturday. Central Connecticut will be homecoming for the Colonials. Long Island, who put on a very good performance last year against the Colonials. St. Francis the 25th and November 1st at Stonehill. So some tough games there. And if Zach Tanner, we don't know the injury, it hasn't been announced what happened to him. But if he's out for a while, Wolf is going to have to step up for this Colonials team.
Absolutely. It is going to be very interesting to see what the sophomore can do. The hometown kid, I might add, from Montour, the sophomore out of Montour, can do for the Colonials.
And maybe he'll get some hometown luck. He was with the team last year, so he understands how Clark wants this offense to run. It's just unfortunate for Tanner, who kind of started to get in his rhythm after the two rough games against West Virginia and Youngstown State to begin the season. Kind of picked it up last week against West Liberty, and now, unfortunately for him, injured, so we shall see who will be the quarterback for them.
The nice thing about it, if Jake Wolf will have to step in for the Colonials here, they also have a good running back in Ethan Scheid, who has had a great success in these last two games at home, finding the back of the end zone.
Yep.
So that's something he can always rely on as he fills in with this team.
Yep, definitely, and Shine will continue to look to be that impact power runner that he is for the Colonials as conference play picks up for them.
And we're moving on over to the hardwood. Joey, you got some more for us on this one.
Yep, the Colonials were in the 412 Project Invitational, and the Colonials hosted this one at the UPMC Event Center. And here's how the games went. Brett, you want to talk to us how they did against St. Francis?
This one was an absolute thriller, I might add. I just have thriller in huge letters on this one for the Colonials and the Red Flash. This one was a lot of fun. St. Francis would take the first set 25-20, looking like a pretty bleak one so far for RMU, but they would take back set number 2, 25-21. They're not quite out of it. Unfortunately, St. Francis would end up winning the third set 25-21. But RMU was not out of it on this one. Second set was a little bit more dominant, 25-14, really not slowing down here. And the Colonials would take the last one 15-8. So they would win it in 5. Tia Schultz led the team with Jocelyn Jordan would lead the team with 13 kills and 11 digs on the day, and then Tia Schultz would have 12 kills. I'd like to also point out Caitlin Brown had a season-high 38 assists in this matchup, and Jasmine Birkall had 18 digs in this one. So this was a huge barn burner in UPMC Event Center for the Colonials.
That one indeed, but their second game in this tournament, the Colonials took on Buffalo, and they dominated the Bulls in great fashion. For the Bulls, Maddie Mitchell had 7 kills, 28 assists, and 16 digs. Manola Forland ended up the game with 11 kills and 7 digs. And for the Colonials, Addison Butts had a great game in the middle with 6 kills, 4 aces, 2 blocks, with Jocelyn Jordan having a killer of a game with 16 kills and 3 digs. Colonials had a pretty good weekend, Brett, don't you?
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
you say?
Absolutely. Nice pickup here for the Colonials, as they have not had the best start to the season, but these 2 games in the 412 Invitational have been increasingly been making things better for this team. You know, you can see that chemistry starting to build. Addison Butts has been fantastic for this team, stepping up as a freshman. But Joey, I can say something else better. I think someone might be returning to this Colonials team.
Someone returning indeed, and it was a star player, the junior outsider from Canton, Ohio. Natalie Stepanovic is back. She played her first game over the weekend after she had an injury this offseason. As you see here, first game since last season. In her sophomore season, she played in 97 sets total, and she was the Colonial leading player with kills per set, averaging 2.64 and with a total of 254 for the season. She also led the team in total digs with 360 last year, which also was good enough for 11th place in the Horizon League. Brett Stepanovic is going to bring some dominant kills on the outside and also some help on the defensive end for the Colonials and Coach Danny's side.
Not only is she going to bring the kills, but she's also going to bring the leadership back to this team. Not only, this team has been primarily pretty young for the Colonials, a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores. So having Natalie Stepanovic back on this lineup for the team is only going to make things better for this.
Yeah, and leadership, but also experience. Now, she's been with the
100%.
team for 2 years. In her freshman year, she was all freshman team and second team Horizon League. So she's going to bring some of that experience, but also just that dominant force for the Colonials, get some of that offense going, which they've had a slower start to the season, as you mentioned. So her being back is huge for the Colonials.
Especially with this huge swing of momentum that this team has had in these past 2 games as part of the 412 Invitational. 3-0 against Buffalo, thriller against FSU, the 3-2 win. Adding that piece is going to be fantastic for this team.
Indeed. And, some good chemistry building with one of their best players from last year. Definitely will be good for the Colonials as they start Horizon League play with Purdue Fort Wayne coming up. Their Colonials are going to travel out to Indiana to start their Horizon League play.
You are correct indeed. That one is going to be a fun one. But when we come back, women's hockey is officially back. We got the full insight when we return on Colonial Sports Center.
Colonial Sports Center. That's CSC. Women's basketball.
Found my heart out there in the open. Trees make you feel smaller. Can't help but get lost again. If I need a break, know where I'm going. Where the water's flowing, I'd rather be floating. If it's something I can count on to be free.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center, and as Brett mentioned before the break, we're going to be talking about some RMU women's hockey as they took on Durham this past weekend in their scrimmage, and let's see how the Colonials did in their scrimmage before their season gets underway. The Durham junior team beat the Colonials in a shootout 2-1. Capri Chalk had a goal, 4 shots and 2 blocks in this game, and their goaltenders in total had 54 saves in the game. That is a big number to have for any game, scrimmage, or regular season.
Yeah, I mean, this one was as well, maybe not as intense as the other matchups we've seen today. 2-1 doesn't seem very huge on the scoreboard, but you can see 54 saves. That means the Colonials had 54 shots on goal this game. That's great to see that they're getting pucks to the net. Maybe it wasn't the outcome they were looking for, but getting pucks to the net is something you want to see for sure in the early stages.
And Durham did beat the Colonials in 10 rounds in the shootout, so unfortunate loss for the Colonials, but as you said, the 54 saves, meaning 54 shots were at least on net, so that'll be exciting for the Colonials. And as the Colonials get underway this weekend, Brett, I think we have a little preview for the women's hockey team this season.
Absolutely. It is officially hockey time for the Colonials. They kick it off this weekend. It is going to be a huge one for the Colonials. As we can see, the Colonials are going to be heading over to Clearview Arena to start their season off this later against Assumption on September 26th. Alana Giampetro wearing the C for the Colonials. She only played 11 games last season before that big injury, but still 19 goals, 12 assists, 4 game winners. It's going to be a huge one. Talia Dalia, a junior for this team last season, 3 goals, 8 assists, 46 blocks. She was huge on the defensive end for the Colonials, and 1 game-winning goal, so she's pushing in some of that offensive style as well. And then the absolute dog, Maggie Hatch, in net for this team. 910 save percentage, 4 goals, about a little bit less than 4 goals against in a game, but 32 saves per game. She has been an absolute dog for this team. Notable matchups here for the Colonials. Their home opener we're going to see later this week, and the AHA opener taking place versus RIT on October 10th. And the one we were talking about the one I'm most geeked for, as some could say, January 31st, the outdoor game at Penn State at Beaver Stadium, and then February 14th. Unfortunately, we're going to be saying goodbye to some of our seniors against Lindenwood.
Yeah, saying goodbye, but honestly, on a great day in Valentine's Day. Love will be in the air for that game, so hopefully some of the pucks will love being back of the net for the Colonials that game.
Yeah, it is going to be a fun one this season. Hopefully it's going to be a fun one as well. But when we come back on Colonial Sports Center, it is everyone's favorite time of the week, Top 5 Plays. Don't go anywhere.
The death of George Floyd, who died in police custody Monday night.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation. It's going to take more than just us, as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to help us make a change, because it just can't be us.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Now, unfortunately, we just heard over from our producer that we forgot our top 5 plays this week.
We didn't forget him.
What?
Brett, I have him right here. You want to know where I have him?
Where do you have the top 5 plays?
It's got in my backpack, of
You
course.
have him in the backpack?
I couldn't forget the top 5 plays this week.
Shame on me. We got the top 5 plays. Let's see some top 5 plays.
Yeah. We're going to start it with the 5th play of the week. We're going to take it to football when the Colonials took on Dayton this past week. Jake Wolf coming in for the injured Zach Tanner is going to start this off with a nice run through the left gap, and he's going to pick up 19 yards for the Colonials as he fights off 2 defenders for the big gain.
Yeah, huge play here for the Colonials. The kid out of Montour making his first impression for this team. Picking up a nice 19, getting that first Don here in the city of Pittsburgh, as we refer it. I know you're from Cleveland. I know maybe you wouldn't understand that one. But coming in at number 4, we are going to take it to the pitch. 0-0 to start here against Green Bay for the women's soccer team. Bailey Campbell gets it and carrying it up after the throw-in. Sends it over to Jillian Marvin for a shot. That one is saved, but it is put in by Paloma Swankler. The Colonials strike first here off that nice rebound, and way to finish that one off for the Colonials. Paloma Swankler, second of the season.
And second of the season, right place, right time for her to get that first goal of the game. And at number 3, we're staying on the soccer pitch. Right before the first half came to a close, Jackson Lee sends in a corner, and it's Kyler Miller at the back of the net to score. What a way to end the first half with a nice tap-in.
Again, that one is going to send some salt for the Colonials. It's not going to, for the Norris, excuse me, it's going to be a rough one. But here, number 2, we are going to head it over to volleyball against St. Francis. Up 2-1, the Colonials are up 3 in this set as they try to add another one to their game. A huge kill attempt here for the Red Flash, and a huge kill there by Jocelyn Jordan. Let's take a look here and see this huge dig by Jasmine Pierre-Cal. Look at that one, saving this for the Colonials, and that is the exact reason that they came back and win this game. Just the relentless dedication, those relentless digs to keep them in it and get this one against the Red Flash.
At number 1, we're going to the pitch again. Jack Bergeron is going to lay it off to Roy Raham. Victor Kozak take a touch and put a bender into the back of the net. The assistant coaches are excited. Look at this goal by Koa. Bends it around the keeper and puts it in for the Colonials. You know, unfortunately, a 2-2 draw, but what a goal that was.
And how could you not be excited about that one? But we're going to get even more excited because we got our games to watch coming up now.
Yes, we do indeed. And for my game to watch this week, we're going to stick to the pitch with the men's soccer team as they take on Purdue Fort Wayne. The impact players to watch for the Colonials: Jack Bergeron, 1 goal this year and 3 assists for the Colonials. And Shane Anderson, the reigning Horizon League Offensive Player of the Week, with 6 goals, 6 assists, with 3 of them being game winners. Brett, this is going to be an important game for the Colonials to get their second conference win of the season.
Absolutely. We've talked about this. We've reiterated this so many times, but it is so important that conference matchups are huge, that all these little things matter, and this is going to be a huge one here for the Colonials.
Huge one indeed. But Brett, I think you have an important game to watch this week too.
I do, and I said it. I'm gonna geek again. I'm gonna geek again about this one. My game to watch this week is going to be women's hockey versus Assumption. They are officially back, may I add. Let's see our players to watch here. Orlando GM Petro, 19 goals and 12 assists, 3 power play goals, and only 11 games. For Assumption is going to be Heather Ajaki, 6 goals, 6 assists, and 3 game winners, and 70 shots on last season for Assumption. But I'm just so excited to see how this women's hockey team does.
Excited for this women's hockey team and all of the other Colonials sports teams in action this weekend. Exciting time to be a Colonials fan, don't you say?
Absolutely. The fall time, personally, I think is the best time of year. You got the full thrill of football. You got hockey coming back. Volleyball is in full swing. You got the little teeterings of the basketball team kind of making waves, kind of making
and
those
soccer.
headlines.
Don't forget about soccer. Both teams are on the up right now.
So this is going to be a fun week and also a fun weekend for the Colonials. And what a time to be a Colonials fan, Joe. It's going to be fantastic.
Thank you for tuning in to the Colonial Sports Center, Brett and I. And until next time, have a great rest of your weekend. was a show. That was really weird. No, we just
sucked.
we just
were
bad this week.
bad.
That was bad. That was really bad this
We were
week.
just